Sorensen was the 49ers defensive game specialist, nickel cornerbacks coach. He gets promoted now. And, if he really had the full faith and trust of either Kyle or the 49ers front office, do they hire Brandon Staley? Is Brandon Staley basically Nick Sorensen's den mother? Is he going to be a conduit between the defensive room and the offensive room? I mean, I really don't know. And I think it's one of those, you and I both worked at a lot of radio stations, and some guys are a producer. And some guys are a producer, but they're not just a producer. They're a producer of many things, and they wear a lot of different hats, but they just still carry the title of producer. And it's very undefined. What is the job of an assistant head coach? I'm not really sure I understand that definition. Is he just Helpy Helperstein? Does he just, dot I's and cross T's that Kyle may have missed? Is he a conduit between the offense and defense? It just feels like a little superfluous, a little unnecessary. I don't know.
Well, I mean, and then also, Brandon Staley is a 3-4 guy, and they're running a 4-3 wide 9. So what's he there for? Yeah. What are his tasks? Now, all coaches will be given some form of preparation tasks. So he's going to have concrete things that he actually does each and every week for Shanahan. That much we know for sure, but we don't know what it's going to be. Is this guy going to draw base alignments? Is he going to stay far away from the implementation of the scheme every week? But he's going to oversee it. Is he going to run the headphones and be the guy that breaks all ties on, defensive calls? I don't, I think
he could be the guy who says, hey, we should take this ball second in overtime. Because if he is, it's already an upgrade.
Well, or is he the guy that's going to tell Kyle Shanahan, hey, you know what? Or is he the guy that keeps Kyle Shanahan off of the defensive, headsets because he's kind of the czar running it from above? I don't know. I got the feeling that, just knowing Kyle a little bit, that he would love to just focus on offense and not have a hand in defense. So is Staley there to game plan? Is Staley there to, is Staley there because they're taking a shot on a first-team coordinator or, first-time defensive coordinator, and they want to have his feet to the fire or a fallback option if he falls on his face? I don't know. All these things could be possible.
And look, I'm not here to tell you that the hires are good. I'm certainly not here to tell you that the hires are bad. I don't know. It's all going to come out in the wash of the upcoming season. But as you and I discussed many times, look at everything that you have in front of you this year. Do you really want to go through it with a rookie kicker? And that was pretty much a theme of all of last season, right up until a missed extra point in the Super Bowl probably cost you that Super Bowl. Are you really in a year where the mandate is win the Super Bowl? Like, losing the Super Bowl is regression. Anything other than winning the Super Bowl is officially 100% unacceptable of an outcome. Is it right to have this much pressure on a first-year defensive coordinator? And if Brandon Staley is supposed to be the pressure valve that helps release that pressure, this is the same guy who didn't make it through his first contract as a head coach because he gave up 63 to the Raiders. So it just, again, I understand why this thing didn't come out crisp and clean on a Monday morning, maybe Friday night, Saturday morning. It feels like, not that you can slip any NFL news past anybody, but it feels like this has kind of come. If it wanted to be on the table as the main course served to everybody, it would have been presented like this. I feel like the Niners tried to slide this past a sleepy weekend.
Well, there could be that as well. I can understand why you would say that. All I'll say on this is that it's not a sexy hire because the guy's never done it before. And it is kind of a question mark for the same reason. But it makes sense on a lot of fronts because you're going to have a guy kind of teaching a class with like 3 teaching assistants. And last year you brought in a new head teacher and all the same assistants teaching and the new teacher, the head teacher, was trying to learn what like the grad assistants were teaching. That's it. Like, it didn't really fit. I think last year's structure didn't really fit. This year, I mean, structure means a lot. Like, for example, the Niners had a scheme. They had a way of doing things on all three levels of their defense. They were number one in defense. They brought in Steve Wilks. There was only one place to go, and that was down. And then the communication, it's like Steve's going to learn this on the fly, and then he's going to be the leader in the room. I don't know. And then you had some players pushing back, and who knows if all the coaches had his back. At least you have an internal guy. So I think it's a healthier structure than what they had last year. But I don't know if Nick Sorensen can do it. For all I know, Nick Sorensen's the next Buddy Ryan, or Nick Sorensen is, the worst hire of all time and is going to get bounced before Halloween. I mean, it's like,
right. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle there, right?
Yeah.
Not.
I do know that he knows
Halloween,
the scheme.
not Buddy Ryan.
I do know he knows the scheme. I do know he knows the other coaches. I do know that Shanahan knows him. I think he probably has a better idea of how Sorensen coaches than he knew last year at this time about how Steve Wilks coaches. So, and then the Staley thing, is Staley here as an insurance policy against Sorensen? Is he here as a actual like in-game help us manage the game? Is he going to, obviously he replaces Anthony Lynn, but Anthony Lynn was a assistant head coach, running back coach. This is now an assistant head coach, defensive coordinator type hire. So he's not going to do the exact same tasks as Anthony Lynn. So it's all it's out there, and it's kind of for us to speculate at this point. But there you go. To me, it's always, I don't want to say it's a much ado about nothing, because I don't believe that, but I'm a players guy. And I really believe that having big time players matters. And if you ask me, why did the Niner defense regress last year? Steve Wilks was like answer number 5. I would have gone with Azeez Al-Shaair. I would have gone with Samson Ebukam. I would have gone with Emmanuel Mosley. I would have gone with Jimmy Ward. I would have pointed the finger at several player, evaluations over the coordinator himself.
Players matter. Hosts matter. And thank you very much for being here with Damon Bruce and Larry Krueger. It is Wake Up. It is coming to you Monday, Wednesday, and Friday now. So we hope you plan on making this a part of your daily routine. Well, 3-time-a-week routine anyways. And what we're going to do, a couple guys with reputations for being long-winded and doing videos that are way too long, we're going to do our very best, Larry, to keep it tight. We're going to try to keep this tight, okay? And we're going to try to make sure that this fits into your morning, your lunch break, the time you slip off to the gym in the afternoon, your ride home. So we want to give you a show that encompasses everything and do it in like under an hour. You don't need a 4-hour-long sports talk radio show. Freaking Gone with the Wind wasn't even 4 hours. So